Alright, welcome back. It has been quite a long time since I've done a video. Main reason is because, I was playing a couple other games, been busy with a lot of other stuff, personal, work, life, which happens all the time. And also, one other reason is the original livery's megapack stopped being supported, and it's starting to have issues with recent updates. More so with the 787, the Boeing 747, actually, and the 787, the Dreamliner. There were issues with liveries, either like in the 747, it never loaded the body properly, like it was just a white body, while maybe the tail, they still had the logo, and that wasn't right. With the 787, it had like pink wings, and it's just the issues kind of like just I wouldn't say fully discouraged me, but just like upset me that I stopped playing or really caring for a while. The good news, though, a couple good news is one, I found this new site, which I'll link in the description below. Has a lot of mods, but they have a lot of libraries, and they've been supported. So it says it's been updated to work with recent updates. I've seen libraries I've never seen before. I'm going to go through a couple here before I show this. And then, of course, there's a lot of other mods from a few aircraft, but like airports, scenery enhancements. There's one that does the Google Maps. I was debating trying that or not, but I'll be honest, I don't have really no issues with the Microsoft Maps. There's some stuff I think are outdated I've seen at times, but mind you, this game was probably developed for several years, and there's just I can show you pictures of O'Hare from the last 10 years, and they've added like an extra couple runways and redid the south side. This happens all the time. For example, Chicago O'Hare. For those who don't know what O'Hare means. Anyway, so I was going to do a short video. I just want to do a little catch up here. And one mod I added is the Cathay Airport. Now this is Hong Kong, so this is the current airport is over here. I don't know why it looks so weird with the ocean here. But anyway, this is this is Hong Kong International Airport, and this is the current airport. This was opened in 1998. Basically, this was actually used to be too small. It's actually the engineering behind this is fascinating. I'll go over that really briefly. These used to be two like small islands. They leveled them and then filled the inland in between to form one large island here. You see, there's some similarities in that in Asia, in Japan as well. I think in not Kyoto, Osaka's airport. That's an island-built airport, and I think they kind of filled a part of the bay, created an island, and put an airport on it. But these are actually two small islands, and they formed together. And then connecting, this is actually what's great about the satellite imagery now. They built this road here, and also on the road, either underneath it's also tied to, is a high-speed rail that goes all into the way into central Hong Kong. See, the road goes in here while the train goes in here, and it kind of ends up here in like Victoria area, basically. So, but anyway, it was an amazing engineering feat for the time. It still would be today if they did this today and not back in the early mid 90s. Especially because like these bridges here, and especially around Hong Kong. Well, first of all, if you look at this bridge is long. This is not a short bridge. From here, it has to be able to handle super typhoons. So think of like a major hurricane from category 3 to 5. That way it would not collapse in the wind. Or storm surge for that matter. So they're able to build that, and of course the train, and keeping that in safe condition. Anyway, but the original, so that's the current airport that was built they opened in 1990, built in the 90s, and the main reason was to replace their old airport, which is Cathay Airport. Now this is a mod. So let's see here. I'm trying to think, did they actually overwrote the satellite? Oh wow, they did. Okay, so this mod overwrote the old satellite imagery. So currently here. I apologize. I didn't. I had to do two videos because I had to uninstall and do all that. Anyway, so this is where Cathay used to be. What's remnant to the left is this part here. It's been slightly converted. It's not fully utilized, but I think there's like a little ferry something at the end here, and the rest is kind of empty. I think they've added some buildings here now, like residential stuff. But this is the Cathay Airport, and there's actually a couple bugs here. We'll go over that in a minute, and when we go in. But this is the original airport, and it wasn't. And it's so crazy. You're looking at this. This isn't that big. It doesn't look big. It wasn't, but it was one of the busiest airports in the world. It was the busiest. I believe it was the busiest one runway airport. I think the other one would be Gatwick. We got a couple minutes. I'm not on a time stamp here. Let's go to Gatwick. See if I can Yeah, it is dark. I think it's Gatwick's the other major airport that only has one runway, because it's an older airport. But anyway, Kai-Tak only had one runway, and kind of getting back to it, you see why. There you go, loads. There's nowhere to go. It can't go here. It would destroy a bunch of buildings. There's actually hills and mountains here. There's no the elevation or the level out a lot of stuff. Same with that way. So there's nowhere to go. Now this actually, over the years, this runway was expanded until its closure. I think originally it was like up to here, and they eventually added this. But that's the best they could do. And what's interesting, now I don't know if it's in the mob. We'll find out. It's a little hard to tell from this, but right around here, I think. Yeah, this is like a hill. Yeah. I think it's a little blurry. I apologize. There's nothing I can do this thing. There's a little remnants of here. There's like a red checkerboard sign there. That was a hill for flights. So flights would come in, because remember, the geography of Hong Kong is very mountainous and in these little valleys. So there'd be flights like kind of coming around these islands and then coming this way into here, and then do a sharp turn in. So there's a lot of famous pictures over the years of like the 747s flying right over the buildings and stuff. Very cool. What I'm going to do, I thought about doing a 747, but I couldn't get a Cathay Pacific 747 working. And also that is a big plane I've struggled with personally. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to use a Cathay Pacific livery, but classic. It's a pretty cool livery. You see it. This is like from the 70s and 80s. But yeah, so they've been re-adding livery solely. What's kind of cool, a good example, with this new side, they got a lot of liveries that the old pack didn't have, especially some classic liveries. And one I'm really happy to find is actually a special one. A little hard to tell, but this is actually a American Airlines TWA livery, because TWA is a defunct airline that American bought out, or they merged together. And they've occasionally done a special livery of an old TWA livery from the 80s with like an American logo on it as well. So it's kind of like a good homage to the past. And there's also some other ones, like an American Airlines has one that's like from the 50s and stuff. I don't think Cathay does any of the classic ones, unfortunately, and we'll see as we load up here. But I like that stuff. It's really kind of cool to have these older libraries kind of pay homage to the past. Also, even like for TWA, that used to be another legacy carrier. That was Howard Hughes. If you ever watched The Aviator, there's a lot of ties to that and that history. And it's just kind of, for me, I wish you see more airlines did that. Like another good example would be, let's say United did a Continental theme. They merged with Continental Airlines, was another legacy carrier. Another good one would be American with U.S. Airways. I think it'd be cool. There's also other ones, again, to like, Eastern Airlines and so forth. There's quite a few out there. Alright. Excuse me, just need some water. So, but anyway, I like that stuff. I wish there were more did that, or even like, I know when British Airways retired one of their 747s recently. It might have been the last 747. They did different themes for their 747s. So some had like the 80, like the classic theme you saw until the 90s. Some had like from the 40s or 50s. Like the livery. So they did like a special paint job. I wish you to see more of that. I think it's really cool. You see some other cool ones, like A&A does ones with like Star Wars for a while. I think they've done with Pokemon. There's obviously some stuff with the Olympics. I think with Japan Airlines. I wish you see more of that. I think it's really cool. Now, remember, this is a mod, so this isn't... They basically had to put the airport in a current spot where it's not development. Also got the A320X. Alright, one sec. I'm gonna turn this down slightly so that way. Blah blah blah. Here we go. Yeah. I'll turn this down to 80. Alright. Sorry about that. I should have checked that before the video, but oh well, we'll make do. That's better. Okay. So what I'm gonna do, So you already see a bug here, and look, I'm not gonna blame the bug. So this is tough because this airport is now developed mostly. Besides the half of this runway, like basically here onboard, it's kind of overgrown and just a couple of So yeah, so this is where the airport is, really right in the city. It's kind of an example of, you know, the terminal itself. Not that big, you know. And what they did, see, it's kind of like a big parking lot. Basically, a lot of airlines would park here. It was a busy airport year round, or sorry, you know 24/7. So a lot of the planes came in out pretty quick, I think, especially in Cathay. And at the same time, you know, it isn't as busy as it is. It's not like fully compared to like 2019 air travel. Not 2020 or now with the pandemic. We think of 2019 and just think of all these airports, how much they've expanded, how much room they need from passenger and cargo traffic. But it was really cool from the pictures I've seen of this airport. This is pretty spot on, especially this guy that did this from scratch. Yeah, you can talk about textures, but yeah, it had the sign there. This is the air tower. I think these were offices, and this is kind of the main terminal. You know, nothing eventful. I mean, it was an old airport. It dated back, I think it's the 30s or 40s, especially the World War II era, and then it became a passenger airport post World War II. And then you add in all the, you know, the growth of Hong Kong, and you know, like from the 50s until to today, if I want to be honest. But like, you know, that post World War period, the city exploded because it was the gateway. You know, China became communist and it was pretty much locked off from the world for a while. This was like the gateway to, you know, basically like, you know, Asia in a way. It became a big business hub, you know, especially for financial. It's a weird market because it's kind of, well, it's different now with the Chinese in charge, obviously, but like, it's considered a very unregulated free market to an extent, more so than like a lot of traditional developed economies or cities. So yeah, that's why it's a global hub in terms of like finance, global trade. You know, it's got some of the biggest ports in the world that go through there, and obviously with China, but also, you know, at the time, think about other countries throughout the years. So there's a lot of, it's a very fascinating city, and with that, you know, as I kept growing, this airport was clearly cannot keep up with the city, and that's why they built the new Hong Kong International Airport. But yeah, it kind of just show you. Yeah, I see the bug. Like, I think nowadays there's a road and stuff here. So, I mean, whoever did this did a good job. They had to overwrite quite a bit parts of the city to put this here. You know, like these buildings and stuff that are part of the airport. You know, some of the hangars and repair stuff. But anyway, let's get back to. Actually, we're gonna get back to our plane. There we go. And what I'm saying, this is the old Cathay Pacific livery. It's kind of what you saw in the 70s, 80s, maybe the 60s as well. Kind of more of a chrome look, you know, big green. You know, kind of basic design, not like the, I will say the current logo is pretty cool, but you know, now it's like more of a cleaner, cleaner logo, just some new rolls and I don't know how to really describe the logo, but it's like a unique logo. You see they got the Union Jack here, because this was a British colony during this era of Cathay Pacific. Alright, so we're going to, what I want to do, I'm going to keep this, after this, keep it kind of short. We're going to try and see if I can fly around and try to land this. So. Parking brake application. I think I got a bug here. This is not right. I can't take off. The speed should not be going up if it's parked. Yeah, see, there's the parking brake. Okay, this is a bug. I mean, this is the downside. We'll reload this, see if we can get it working the second time. Hold on. Oh! What's that? Oh, crap. Alright, well, we'll fix this. I forgot, I had the pause button on. Oh, by the way, this is the latest update installed, so it looks like this stuff is now back in. But yeah, so this is Sky Tech. Like, it took off right here in the middle. And what's crazy to think about, and how scary this had to be, you know, they land in the rain. They land in a lot of stuff. I mean, not in a super typhoon, but
Cathay S275 leaving my airspace frequency change approved.
It's just crazy to think about.
Tower SA S275 frequency change. Hong Kong Kong approach SAS275 is type Airbus A320 and 2 miles southeast of Victor Hotel X-ray 2,300 feet.
Oh, so to be fair, I did want to be safe and not try to do this with the 747. I really struggle with that plane. I mean, it's a big plane. It's amazing how different it is compared to the Airbus A320. Obviously, especially like a small plane too, but you know, you think of the first airlines, a lot of these go the Airbus A320 or the Bombay or the CRJ
0365 SAS275.
787, I feel a little more comfortable with. I think it helps. It's only, it's not, there's a little, like the weirdest thing about the 747 is like, especially when I try to take off, it's like my back end is about to hit the ground before I can lift off. Well, I tend to have an easier time with the, obviously Airbus A320, but also the 787 Dreamliner.
Cargo log 7204 Hong Kong approach altimeter 29 decimal 88. Continue to Lotus as planned.
Cleared through the Charlie airspace
I haven't messed with this update. I just got it installed, so like tonight. All right. Does it actually show Kitech on here?
Cargo log 7204. You are 20 miles east of Hong Kong. Contact tower on 118 decimal 21 inbound.
There we go.
Tower SAS275, 6 miles south, 6,100 feet to land. SAS275 tower.
And I know it's right over there, but the clouds.
With tree 10 at 10. Enter left base runway tree 1.
Alright.
Fly left base runway tree 1 SAS275.
Yeah, so it should be good. I'm just gonna kind of start circling around here. Yeah, so they're gonna have me going that way. Nah, I'm gonna reject those ideas. We're gonna try it the crazy way when they came in this tunnel. That's not a bad approach. Actually, you know what? I don't know why they did that route usually. I think there might have been issues with head currents or winds, maybe. Or you know what? This is very, very, very cynical of me. But I think one reason, if they had issues stopping in time, they probably had better holds, which they happened a few times. If you run out of runway going to the bay, which the airplane survived the impacts there, and so that the people maybe compared to if you lost and have enough control to stop in time, you're going to crash into the highway, which is a lot more devastating. Very, very ghoulish and morbid to think, but that might have been the reason why they did that. 4 times in time. I know for takeoff they had to, because they didn't have enough space going north to take off to get up to elevation. Pull it down. Alright, so we're going to cheat, because I like the clouds, but they're in the way right now, and I've never done this route before, so I'm going to clear it up. There we go. To give you a sense what they did. And remember, I'm doing this in Airbus. It's going to be a little easier than doing it in the, in the 747. Like I said, this is going to be kind of quick because it's worried about showing the Kitech. I'm going to keep it in there though. I think it's a cool airport to have. So what they did. Yeah. See, so a lot of planes couldn't come in direct because of the elevation here, and they were not able to get low enough, so they came in this way. Excuse me. So they came in this way because, yeah, they can get lower than they could. Even with the buildings, they're still lower than these peaks of these mountains here, or these hills. Now, granted, this is today. I think some of these buildings were not as tall as they are now, but still notable. But yeah, you see, they kind of basically came in this way. Also around here, believe it or not, a little random thought, it used to be the walled city. It's like that famous kind of like slum area where there's like a lot of basically, congestion of people, and you saw a lot of 747s right over there. It's like right around this area. It's right here. So like you saw planes. Yeah, so it is in here. Look at that. Real quick, we're gonna pause it right here. So that's it. See, this is the hill here telling them when they had to turn. So usually they just started turning right when they saw that. They started turning almost like not a 90 degree, but a good sharp 45 degree, maybe even close to sharp turn to land. So we're gonna try this, see how this works. Yeah, see, look at they kind of turn. I'm kind of cutting the engine almost. Yeah, so they're turning like this. You saw planes from over the buildings like this. It was insane. Like, and this was the main airport like for years, especially during like when air travel was just growing rapidly from the 60s and onward. Yeah, like look at this. I'm gonna have to dip it. We're gonna have to see if I think we'll have enough time. Yeah, especially at this point. But still, like I saw the planes on land. It looked like a lot of hard landings here.
SAS-275, you were not cleared to land. Clear the runway.
Oh, there's gonna be no planes. This airport doesn't exist. Yeah, but it's like I remember watching like so many of these flights. It was just crazy how they landed, and they almost had to stop very quickly. It's a good size runway. Don't get me wrong, but it's like it's really sharp. So it's 747.
You were not cleared to land. Clear the runway.
You know, still 747. It isn't like they just started at the very end. They were like a third of the way into the runway before they barely touched the ground. So that's just crazy to think about. So yeah, and then they kind of crossed around.
SAS-275, you were not cleared to land. Clear the runway. SAS-275, contact ground on 121 decimal.
We're not gonna do that. There's a little bridge there. We'll cross that.
Going to 121 decimal 6 SAS-275.
Yeah, so this was the just kind of since Kai-Tak is one of the craziest airports ever in the world. I know before they closed, you saw a lot of people in the last few years were plane spotting. Some actually wanted to take the route just because of just how unique it was. And it was just one of the last toughest. They consider one of the last tough challenges in commercial aviation that's still around. How's it turning? There we go. Sorry, I think my tail was messed up. So, and I can see why. That was pretty cool how you just kind of sharply turn in there, and then you can cross this bridge here, park, and then they'll bust you into the terminal. I think with the whole Hong Kong airport outside the 2 gates, I think it had a tendency to be on the tarmac, and they'll bust you to and from it. So. It's just crazy. It's all designed. I mean, they even cut the water in the middle. You have to go across. Man, just think of that. It's insane. Yeah, because look at. I mean, think about it. If you take the gates out, there's a lot of parking spaces here. There's just a lot of things that you fly in, you park, and you have to take a bus. Probably drag you after 12 hours in here. It's some cool photos though out there, like that show like the Concorde flew here from France. I know the British Concorde flew here before. I think those were privatized, those were like on loan or basically chartered for like the British family or like political dignitaries. Now we're parked here at Kai-Tak, one of the old spots. Obviously, it's not showing many planes. This spot had populated a few, but it's not like today's airport. So it's not like it would have been in a day. There were all kinds of planes coming in and out all the time. So, but yeah, anyway, so that's a little bit about Kai-Tak. A little mod we added in there. Got the new Cathay Pacific. Cathay Pacific livery, the retro from like the 60s, 70s, kind of like definitely, I would say, peak Hong Kong travel to Kai-Tak. Stick with the Airbus to be safe so I didn't crash the plane. But yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed the video. They just did the big update recently, so I definitely want to check that out and some things, and hopefully it works well and so forth. Anyway, thank you for watching. Have a good night.